Think back to your first job. Not your current job, not the one you're proud of, but the very first one, okay? The one where you didn't know what you were doing, where you made mistakes that made you want to just disappear into the floor. Where someone more senior took 10 minutes to show you something that took you 3 hours to figure out alone, and you thought, oh, that's how that works. That job existed. Why? Because a company decided the cost of training you was worth it. That deal, we'll take you green, you'll learn the job, everyone gets something out of it, is one of the oldest arrangements in the working world. And right now in the technology industry, it is quietly being canceled. Not announced, not debated, it's just quietly removed. And the reason that's being given is 2 letters long. This is Barely Human Labs. We investigate modern life in the age of AI so that you don't have to. And so today we're looking at what happens when an industry stops training its next generation. What happens to people who can't get in? What happens to the companies that thought they found a shortcut? And what happens to everyone 5 years from now when the consequences arrive? Okay, so here's something that seems obvious until you realize the industry is currently ignoring it. Senior developers do not appear from nowhere. Every person currently running your cloud infrastructure, debugging your payment system at 2 a.m, making the architectural decisions that'll define your product for the next decade, every single one of them was, of course, at some point, absolutely terrible at their job. Why? Because they were junior developers first. They got hired knowing less than they needed to know. The company knew that going in. So in exchange for tolerating the learning curve, they got cheaper labor on lower stakes work, right? So bug fixes, documentation, testing, the scaffolding work that senior developers are too expensive and too busy to do themselves. The junior developer, they watched. They asked questions, they made mistakes in environments where the mistakes were survivable. They got better, became mid-level, became senior, eventually became the person explaining to a nervous new hire that the comment in the codebase that says, "Do not touch, Carl," refers to a decision nobody remembers by a person nobody can find. And yes, it still matters. And no, we don't know why. So that's how the pipeline works, right? So that's how it's always worked. And right now, companies, they're making a decision. Not loudly, not in some press release, but in hiring plans and budget meetings. The decision is that they no longer need to run that pipeline. AI is going to handle it. Okay, so before we get into the argument, let me just stop and be clear about what is documented versus what is noise. Job listings for entry-level software roles have fallen just significantly from the peak of a few years ago. Okay, so multiple hiring market analysis like LinkedIn, Stack Overflow, just independent researchers, they've tracked this consistently. That is real and it's sourced. And at the same time, the number of people trying to enter the industry went up. So computer science enrollment increased, bootcamp graduations increased, more people chasing fewer doors. So what is also documented, and of course has been a standing joke in tech hiring long before AI showed up, is the entry-level job listing that requires 3 to 5 years of experience. Entry-level requires experience. Did you catch that? So this contradiction, it didn't start with AI. But AI arrived at exactly the right moment to give companies a cleaner reason to keep the door closed. So before AI, the explanation for not refilling junior roles was, we're being efficient with headcount. After AI, the explanation is, we've automated that work. Same outcome, much better press release. And so here's the context that explains a lot, okay? A few years ago, during a period when money was cheap and growth projections were optimistic, tech companies hired aggressively. I mean, very aggressively. Then the growth didn't materialize. Interest rates rose, the market shifted. Companies that hired enthusiastically found themselves with significantly more headcount than their revenue could justify. So they cut. And when they cut, they made decisions about what to bring back. Senior engineers, the ones who understood the systems, the ones who knew where Carl's code lived and why it had to stay, those got protected. Losing a senior engineer, it's immediately visibly expensive. You feel it literally the same week, okay? Junior roles got looked at differently. Losing a junior developer, it's a slower, quieter cost. It doesn't show up like on a dashboard. It shows up in a hiring crisis 3 years later when everyone's suddenly asking where the mid-level talent went. And right around the same time as the cuts, AI coding tools arrived. GitHub, Copilot, a wave of other tools. The pitch from every vendor with a slide deck? AI can do what your junior developers do. And listen, that pitch landed. Why? Because it was convenient. Because the cuts were already happening, right? Because AI as cover is cleaner than overhiring as the real explanation. JP Morgan, one of the loudest voices predicting AI job displacement, they later quietly acknowledged that AI accounted for less than 5% of actual layoffs. Less than 5%. The rest was companies that had overhired and needed a story. That story, you guessed it, was AI. Quick one. Barely Human Labs puts out 2 of these every week, Tuesday and Saturday. If this is landing, subscribe and turn notifications on. And if you want to support the channel directly, membership is in the description. Genuinely appreciated. Now back to the AI. So let's be honest about what the tools can and can't do, okay? Because this channel does not do lazy AI bashing. AI coding tools are genuinely good at the category of work that junior developers traditionally spend like a lot of time on. Boilerplate code, repetitive patterns, unit tests, documentation. The fundamental work that junior developers did while paying their dues and learning the shape of a real production system. And listen, that part of the pitch is not wrong, okay? What the pitch leaves out is what junior developers were getting from that work. So the grunt work was never just about the output. It was the mechanism, okay? It was how you learned to read code you didn't write, how you developed instincts about where things break, and just like how you built the pattern recognition that turns a mediocre developer into a good one and a good one into a great one. AI? Yeah, it doesn't give you that. AI produces the output. It skips the learning. And the companies celebrating the efficiency gain are not tracking the learning loss. Because the learning loss doesn't appear on a spreadsheet until when? Yeah, several years later, when they need a senior developer and can't find one who understands their systems. And listen, this is the part that has become its own genre of dark humor in developer communities online. A junior developer, by definition, does not have professional experience. That's what makes them junior. It's because they're at the beginning. And yet the listings for junior roles, entry level, explicitly in the title, regularly ask for things like 2 to 3 years of production experience, prior experience working in large-scale distribution systems, experience mentoring other developers. That last one, mentoring, on an entry-level listing. Listen, the entry-level role now requires a track record of teaching the thing you're applying to learn for the first time. These are real listings too. Like, they've been screenshotted and shared to the point where the format is its own genre. Developers who have been in the industry for 20 years post them with one word: how. The reason they exist is entirely human and entirely predictable. When a hiring manager writes a job listing, they want the best possible candidate, right? So they add the ideal requirements. Then the next person, they add a few more. Then legal adds something. Then nobody removes anything because removing requirements feels like lowering standards. And so the listing, it quietly becomes a description of someone who has simultaneously never had a job and has had 6 years of experience. And listen, AI didn't create this, but AI, it gave companies permission to stop feeling guilty about it. Now, when someone asks why the junior listings look impossible, the answer is clean. We've automated that work. There's nothing for a junior to do. The work hasn't gone anywhere. What's gone is the tolerance for training. Let's do the math on this, okay? Not complicated math. Just the obvious kind that isn't being discussed in the rooms where these decisions get made. So, a senior developer with 10 years of experience was a junior developer first, right? And if you stopped hiring juniors conservatively 3 years ago, which is roughly when the cuts started and the AI tools arrived, then in 3 years' time, you have no one who is a 3-year developer. So in 5 years, you have no one who's a 5-year developer. And in 10 years, yeah, you have a severe shortage of experienced talent. A senior developer pool that has aged and thinned, and a generation's worth of institutional knowledge that was never transferred because there was nobody to transfer it to. And this is not a prediction, it's arithmetic. The companies that are making this bet are betting that AI will have solved the problem before the bill arrives. That by the time they need the developers they didn't train, the AI will be good enough that it doesn't matter. And listen, that might be right. It might also be the most expensive assumption in the history of the technology industry. Okay, and so now let's put down the structural argument, and let's talk about the people. There are real humans in this. People who spent 3 or 4 years and significant money on a computer science degree because every signal they received from schools, from recruiters, from the industry itself, yeah, it told them this was stable and in demand. It's people who they went to coding boot camps at a cost that honestly for many of them required a financial sacrifice or even debt. Why? Because the pitch was explicit. 6 months of work, then a job. People who spent evenings and weekends building portfolios, contributing to open source projects to get visibility, reaching out to people on LinkedIn, going to meetups, applying to just hundreds of roles. The Reddit threads documenting this are not small communities. Honestly, they're enormous. Thousands of people comparing notes on the same experience with different names. 300 applications, 4 phone screens, no offers. 500 applications, 2 final rounds, nothing. The numbers vary, but honestly, the story is just identical. These are not passive people who expected the industry to come to them. They did the things they were told to do. They learned what they were told to learn. They built what they were told to build. And the door is closed. One comment that stuck from someone with 2 years of experience who was laid off and just can't find anything: I didn't win. Seniors did. 2 years of experience, which means they got in just barely before the window closed. And they still lost. That is the shape of the problem. Barely Human Labs. 2 videos a week. Subscription in the button below. We also have a membership for people who want to support the channel directly. Link is in the description. Now, back to the corporate communications. When companies are asked why junior hiring has dropped, there are 3 standard answers, okay? Answer 1, it's we haven't stopped hiring juniors, we're just being more selective. And answer 2, AI has changed the skill requirements and we need candidates who can demonstrate AI fluency. And answer 3, the market is challenging for everyone right now. On answer 1, when selectivity produces near zero junior hires across an industry for multiple cycles, it's no longer selectivity, right? It's a policy. Calling it selectivity, it's honestly just a way of avoiding the word policy. On answer 2, and this is the most interesting one, okay? It's not entirely wrong. Companies do now expect junior candidates to be comfortable with AI tools. But listen, here's the problem with that argument, okay? The people applying for these roles are recent graduates and recent bootcamp alumni. They've been using AI tools throughout their education. They are in many cases more comfortable with AI-assisted development than the senior developers interviewing them. The AI fluency bar is one most junior candidates can clear easily. So if the bar is cleared and the hires are still not happening, AI fluency is not the actual reason. It's a reason that just sounds good. On answer 3, the market being challenging is technically true, okay? It's also a deflection though. The market didn't get challenging just randomly. It got challenging because of decisions. Decisions about who to cut, who to protect, who to automate, and what to let go. Those decisions were made by people in rooms. The market didn't make them, the people did. And let's be honest about who wins from the current situation, okay? Senior developers in the short term win. Less competition, higher salaries, more leverage. If you're a senior developer watching this, the immediate math, yeah, it's in your favor, okay? AI tool vendors win significantly. The argument that AI can replace junior developer capacity is in large part a sales pitch. When companies believe it and cut junior roles as a result, those vendors sell more subscriptions. They have a direct financial interest in the argument being accepted. Consulting firms and contractors, they win. When companies can't or won't hire juniors for the internal work, they outsource, usually to contractors or agencies, and often at a higher effective hourly rate than a full-time junior would have cost. The efficiency argument frequently produces its opposite in practice. Who loses? The generation trying to get in, immediately and obviously. And the companies themselves, later, quietly, when the pipeline they stopped filling runs dry. There is a version of the story that ends reasonably well, okay? AI tools improve. The work that junior developers used to do genuinely becomes automated. New entry points into the industry emerge that don't look like they used to. Companies adapt. The people who couldn't get in find other ways in, or the industry finds them. That is possible. But there's also a version where AI improves but not fast enough, where the gap between AI handles junior work and AI handles senior work turns out to be longer than the companies betting on it assumed. So where the pipeline problem becomes a talent shortage, where the talent shortage becomes a bidding war, and where the bidding war costs more than the training program it replaced. We've already seen a version of this play out in the broader AI replacement story. So companies that cut engineering teams to save money on salaries ended up paying significantly more to get those same people back. The people who came back knew exactly what had happened and negotiated accordingly. So the pipeline version of that story is slower. It's more structural, harder to assign blame for. But the mechanism, it's identical. You stop making seniors, seniors become scarce. Scarcity is expensive. And in a future boardroom, someone will give a presentation about the talent shortage. They'll show graphs, they'll recommend solutions, right? But they won't mention that a previous version of that boardroom decided, for very logical short-term reasons, not to hire the people who would have become the talent. This is Barely Human Labs. We run these experiments so you don't have to. New video every Tuesday and Saturday. If this is the kind of thing you want more of, then subscribe. And if you want to support the channel directly, membership is below. It keeps these coming.